It's Travel Michigan. I'm Dave Lorenz along with Michelle Grinnell, and we have the great pleasure of being with you again this week to find out all the cool things happening around the state of Michigan, and we do have a very cool event coming up very soon.
We do. We were talking about places that were under the radar. ArtPrize is something that is very much on the radar these days. Is happening in just a few weeks in Grand Rapids, September 24th through October 12th. And we are fortunate to have Todd Herring, who is the Director of Communications for ArtPrize, with us today. So welcome to the show, Todd.
Hi, Dave and Michelle. It's great to be here. Thanks.
So you guys are gearing up for ArtPrize. For folks that maybe haven't heard of ArtPrize or haven't made it down there yet, let's start with a quick overview of the event itself and kind of what's happening in downtown Grand Rapids to get ready for it.
Yeah, so in 2009, Rick DeVos, who founded ArtPrize, kind of had an idea around what would happen if you were to flood a city with contemporary art. And then essentially worked with a team to reverse engineer making that happen. The event was modeled after things like ArtPrize, film festivals, and kind of brought all of these things together to create what's ended up being the world's largest art competition. So it begins with a large prize. This year we have $560,000 that's going to be awarded at the end of the event, and that's through a combination of public vote and juried awards. That prize structure and then the subsequent crowds that come to visit ArtPrize has drawn this year over 1,500 artist entries showing at 174 different venues across 3 square miles of downtown Grand Rapids. And the reason we're able to facilitate this is that we start with an open call, which means that anyone over the age of 18 can be an artist. So opposed to the traditional art world curation model where there's only certain artists are specifically chosen. At ArtPrize, it's completely open. Anyone can do it. And then it's independently organized. So ArtPrize, us as the organization, we actually don't play much of a role deciding where what art gets into the competition and where it goes. So the venues create a profile online, the artists do the same, and then it works similar to a dating site where the artists and venues connect. This year that happened 1,536 times, so 1,536 artist entries are going to flood 3 square miles of downtown Grand Rapids starting September 24.
I kind of wondered how you match up the places with the pieces, and I don't know if there's any advantage to be in certain places for some of these artists, but you do seem to find kind of just the right places to display these pieces of art.
Yeah, I mean the motivation is different for everyone. So SiteLab, for example, is they've won our Outstanding Venue Award multiple times. The jurors that come from all over the art world. They've found SiteLab to be a favorite of theirs, but in years past, SiteLab hasn't been in the most heavily trafficked venue. It's been off the beaten path a little bit. You've had to go find it. But meanwhile, the curators of SiteLab, they're also showing at Art Basel Miami, and they have a very different drive for what brings them to the ArtPrize event. Then there's the Ford Museum. Ford Museum had I think well over 250,000 attendees last year, so very, very high foot traffic, many top 10 pieces in the public vote over there. So artists find different motivation to be part of the event, and so I guess it depends on what you're looking for to say if a certain venue has advantages over other ones, but it really is up to the artist to decide where they want to show.
Todd, kind of walk through. I think part of the unique piece of ArtPrize is the public vote and the fact that this is a way for people to really interact with art that may not normally find themselves at an art museum or kind of more traditional art venues. So talk a little bit about that in the voting process.
Yeah, so the public vote is really one of the key things that differentiates ArtPrize from any other art event in the world. So as I said, it started with an open call, and then it's independently organized, and that third thing is the public vote. Those three things together have what made it, given it kind of that explosive growth. Lots of artists, lots of visitors, and everyone has the freedom to exchange their ideas about what they think is the best, and that's why the public vote is at the center of what we do. And we have juried awards, and this year we've actually increased our juried awards because what develops is this tension between the popular vote versus expert critique. And when you see those two dynamics playing in the same event, what evolves is this really interesting conversation about, what art is, what it means, and why it matters. And everyone is invited to that conversation. It's not reserved for the art elite.
Well, you've had a great, I guess, variety of types of art displayed, and I think maybe that's part of that whole kind of defining what art is. Are you surprised with the variety that's been displayed over the years?
Well, when you take the rules away, you break down barriers for people, and people have more desire to get creative when they see that there are fewer rules to decide what is art and what isn't. And so you do see a great variety of art from people who are, for the first time, taking a stab at creating, some object that they find beautiful or pleasing in some way, all the way to people who are, world-class, world-renowned artists showing. Last year we had one of the jurors from our jury grand prize, which is a $100,000 prize they gave away last year. One of those jurors actually entered ArtPrize this year as an artist. So you have such a wide range, and there really is a beauty in seeing that diversity of art in one event.
And last year, I think your winner was like a piece of fiber art, if I remember right, which was just beautiful.
Correct. Yeah, a 4-panel quilt of Sleeping Bear Dune Lakeshore, a really iconic Michigan location. That piece was located at the Ford Museum last year, and definitely captured the visiting public's votes. And at the public museum now, so people can still see it, which is pretty cool. Where do these pieces generally go? Do they kind of get dispersed everywhere? They do, yeah. We're actually, this year, the winner from 2012, which is Elephants by Donna Kerr, and last year's winner by Ann Lovelace, Sleeping Bear Dune Lakeshore, are both going to be on display at the ArtPrize Hub at 41 Sheldon Boulevard. And that kicks off just the weekend before ArtPrize opens. We have registration day, but then also September 24, you can come here and see both of those pieces. But we're working with MLive right now to actually create a database of where are they now and collecting all of this, because there's so much art that is stuck around. That's not just in Grand Rapids, but throughout the region of iconic ArtPrize pieces. And Tom, all of these places where they can go, the venues, they're all free, if I recall, like all free attendance, all to get in? Correct, yeah. ArtPrize is, we try to make things radically open. And so, it's free. So for venue hours start at the basic minimum venue hours start at 5 o'clock, go 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. on weekdays, except for noon to 8 p.m. on Friday, and then noon to 8 p.m. on Saturday, and noon to 6 p.m. on Sunday. But that's just the minimum. Most venues are open far beyond that. In fact, all of our exhibition centers and showcase venues, they all open at noon every single day. And it is all free. We have a mobile app that helps you navigate the event. This year, a new feature for that is that you can go onto our website, you can start finding art that you think you want to go visit and see, and you actually pull that into a list, and then when you get down here, if you have the app generates a map automatically based on that list. So it helps you navigate the event, it helps you to vote, and it's all completely free. And you get to see a lot more than you might otherwise see. So it all happens September 24th through October 12th. And you can find out more by going to artprize.org. I want to thank Todd Herring, Director of Communications for ArtPrize, for being with us today. Of course, Michigan.org has a ton of information on ArtPrize and on all these other special events happening all throughout the state. Really highly recommend you check it out today, especially as we're kind of transitioning into this new season, and maybe you're looking to do a little more of the activities indoors, maybe some museums and such, zoos and whatever. But maybe you're looking to do some of those outdoor experiences in fall, hiking and biking, and you'll find a whole bunch of great information at Michigan.org. You'll also be able to order your new free fall travel guide, but do it soon. Before you know it, this season's going to pass us by. So order that magazine today and be prepared for the coming season at Michigan.org. We're going to head up to Traverse City and find out what's happening in the winery scene next, right here on Travel Michigan, where your trip begins at Michigan.org.